part 2. My alarm went off to get up. I have several alarms that I set just to make sure that I don't wake up late. My classes start at 4:50, and so I have an alarm that I set for 4:35, and then 4:25 as well, just to make sure that I wake up on time and have time to set up and get my computer running. So I will come in and then I turn on my computer and I log into the system, and this is the home page, and this is what I would see. I don't know if you can see it. So I have my dashboard here, and it's got a preview of my class, so I can see that I have a class starting in 24 minutes. This is my preview of the next several days schedule. This is my summary of my income, and then a countdown, or a Chinese and American kind of clock, so that I know what time it is. So it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to come in and get everything set up, and then I will kind of play on my phone, or I don't usually have any caffeine this early, because if there's any chance that I'm able to take a nap before I have to take the kids to school or get ready for work, then I will try and close my eyes for a minute before I do that. But my classes run, they're 40-minute classes, and you get paid $15 per class. You can have anywhere from 1 to 4 students in each class at a time, and the whole purpose is you're teaching them English. And so the system is set up to where you have lessons already pre-planned. So I'm going to see if I can flip it. So you come in here, and when you go in here, you're going to hit your class prep button, and it'll take you to a different screen where you can see this is a summary of what the lesson is, and it's got different things that you're going to know you're going to work on. It'll do a network check to test and make sure that your computer is running at a decent speed. And then it shows you a preview of who your children are going to be. The children in China will all pick American names usually, so that it's easier. And most Chinese kids, this is normal, and that's how they have an American name that they go by, so that if they ever come to America, that they will have a name that they are used to being called by in America. So then you go in here and you click View PowerPoint, and you can actually preview the lesson. And so for today, this is Lesson 6 in Unit 2. Let's see if I can get in there. So Lesson 6 in Unit 2, and this is Level 3. So in this company, there's Level 0, Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, and Level 4. The majority of the people that I teach are going to be in Level 1, Level 2, or Level 3. And so there are 9 lessons in each unit. And the pay for the classes, the base is $15 per class. But then if you finish a lesson or a series of lessons up to lesson 9 in a unit, then you'll get an extra $54 bonus for finishing a unit. And right now in my running total for this month so far, I've had 3 unit finishes, and I'm projected to get probably another 3 or 4 this month. So if you do the math on that, it's $54 per, and if I have, what would that be, 7 or 8, that's an extra $400 per month, give or take, on top of my regular teaching pay. So it adds up pretty quickly. And that's not something that I have any control over. I just teach what's assigned to me. And but it is kind of a nice bonus that when you reach those milestones with your students, and it's with the same class. So, your students whenever you start, your students are at a certain point. You don't always start at Level 0, Unit 1 with them. So you just pick it up wherever they're at and you start teaching. And so I'm going to just go through quickly and kind of preview the lesson. So this is the main page. They always have a National Geographic kind of starter page. And then you just click through, and this would be a preview of the lesson for the parents, and you just kind of let it sit there for a minute and let the parents review it and know what their kids are going to go through that day. And then these are our class rules. These are always the same for every lesson. I don't even, if my students are established, I don't really even go over them. I just kind of let it sit here on the page for a second just so that they can be reminded about the classroom's rules. When they've been in the program long enough, they don't really have to be reminded. They know the rules. And then we have a song that we do, usually in every lesson. And you'll go through and teach that. And then you just click through. This is a warm-up. There's usually a warm-up page where the students just kind of get to talking. If in China, it's 4:30 or 4:40 in the U.S., but it is almost 7 o'clock at night in China. It's the same day, so today is Thursday. And so in China, when I see my kids, it'll be almost 7 p.m. Thursday for them. So I always ask them how was their day, how was school, and that just gets them to talking a little bit. And but Chinese kids, culturally, they're used to many hours a day of studying. It's just their culture. So their parents they'll be learning for 10, 11 hours a day between school and after school study hall, and then subsequent lessons that their parents may have them do at home. And so a lot of times my kids are finishing dinner, or maybe they'll be in their pajamas sometimes, because I have another class in the after this one that starts for me at 5:40 and ends at 6. What would that be? I don't know, 6:20 or something. But in China, that would be almost 9 p.m. And so they're getting ready for bed, and they're getting ready to, so this would be like the last thing they do of the day. So they're used to teaching or being taught and learning for many hours a day. And so I try to make it fun and enjoyable, just because, it's something that they have to endure. Their parents are making them do it, but they're usually really good about it. But just getting them to warm up and talk on the screen is a little challenging sometimes. But being engaged and joking around with them and laughing with them is helps them to loosen up a little bit. So then you go into your lesson materials, and you teach the different vocabulary, and they have exercises to reinforce the material. And then these things are movable, so you can interact and let the students interact. And there's instructions over here. So when you're teaching, there's going to be something that tells you how to do it. So it's kind of foolproof. I usually review the lesson really quickly before I go into it, just so that I know what I'm doing, and I can have if I have any props, then I can bring those in. But you just go through, and then you go into the grammar section usually, and you talk about sentence structure. You don't have to have a degree in this stuff. It really is. You're not explaining things in a linguistic way. It's really just demonstrating patterns and reinforcing. A lot of it's just rote memorization for them, to remember how things are said, and we're not getting into why they're structured that way or why sentences are done that way. So it's really very basic stuff, and you're just interacting with the students and doing extra reinforcement activities to reinforce the material that you're going over with them. And then there's a story a lot of times there's a story that you go through at the end of the lesson to finish it up, and activities that go with that. And sometimes the kids are good and you can have them read it. Sometimes you have to read it, but it's all very straightforward, and you just kind of go in there and do what the lessons say. And it looks like in today's activity, we've been talking about the world, and talking about like where I live, right? So you start